So this is actually pretty good. I know things have been kind of doom and gloom for both of these teams, but as somebody who cheers for the Canucks and the Detroit Red Wings, we have to go out there and make this video. We have to! Come on, they're right there! It's a topic that is just itching to be talked about, because even though the Vancouver Canucks are coming off of a pretty bad loss in overtime yesterday, I say bad, like they didn't have 6 goals in the matter, but it was still a pretty bad loss when you consider the fact that they let in 6 themselves and they lost in a shootout. But when you think about the Canucks, you think about the Wings are going through their own pains as well. They haven't been winning games much. We can choose to talk about Todd McLellan and all of the extra commentary about the Wings being bad and all this stuff, what they need to improve on, but I wanted to focus more on one of the actual good parts of this team. Because when it comes to the NHL's Team of the Week, we had this post made earlier this morning on the R Hockey subreddit. I'm pretty sure most of y'all are familiar with the Team of the Week format, but Smash Bros 13's post is a compilation of the highest NHL game score players from the past 7 days. If you take a look at the best Team of the Week, you'll see some names on the forward side that are really interesting. Your first line sees Philip Forsberg, Jack Eichel, and Nikita Kucherov, which is not a surprise when you consider the fact that Kucherov has started to totally come for the crown this season in the points race. He also has a goal today for Tampa Bay, I'm pretty sure. Jack Eichel has been great, and Phil Forsberg has been doing his thing. On the second line, you've got Jake Guentzel, also of the Lightning, Robert Thomas of the Blues, and Luke Evangelista. On the third line, you've got Pius Suter with a 7.8 game score, which is awesome. Yeah, that's right. Extra shout out to Pius Suter there, folks. He has been so good for the Vancouver Canucks lately. It's ridiculous. He's totally stepped up in place of Elias Pettersson and Niels Höglander. Sean Couturier and Matvei Mishkov round out that third line. And then on the fourth line, you've got Alex Killorn, who has been great in Anaheim, Braden Point, and Mark Stone. We say this all the time, but frequently there are duos, if not trios, on these lists because guys that play well tend to play very well alongside of the guys on their line. The same could be said as well for the worst Team of the Week, but we're not really going to dive into that too much here. Actually, we could talk about it at the end of the video. Let's talk about the defense as well, because the best Team of the Week's D-core looks like this. Hanifin Harley, Vince Dunn Broberg, and Simon Edvinsson, and Tyler Myers, with Jake Ottinger and Jordan Binnington being the best 2 goalies in the league the past week. Folks, you're seeing quite a bit of duos and trios here. The 2 Philly guys, the 3 Vegas guys, the 3 St. Louis guys, but ultimately I wanted to talk about that bottom pairing. Simon Edvinsson and Tyler Myers. You've got such great quality play coming out of the Detroit Red Wings' young defenseman in Edvinsson that I think even though the team has been performing particularly poorly lately, you still have a lot to cheer for when it comes to Edvinsson and his development. He has just been a lot more smooth with it. He's been more confident in making the right decisions, and it's really looking like a breath of fresh air for the Detroit Red Wings to know that there is another stable defensively minded guy other than Mo Seider on this team. Bonus points, they're kind of in the same age range, so you want to see these guys growing together and becoming good long-term together too. Edvinsson, though, has definitely started to take things into his own with the tasked role that he's been given. Obviously, he's been playing a lot more minutes. If you take a look at some of the past few games here, 20, 21, 22-minute games. He had a 24-minute game against the Vegas Golden Knights, plus the assists that he has been gathering over the past 4 games or so. Simon Edvinsson has certainly started to get things together offensively, which is good enough to put him at 29 points in 68 games played this season. That is definitely not bad for a rookie season for a shutdown two-way D-man on a middling playoff contender that is all of a sudden tasked with 22, 23 plus minutes a night towards the end of the year when the games matter the most. It's almost like he has been one of the team's best defenders, period. Anyways, let's talk about Tyler Myers too on the Vancouver side, because Edvinsson's D pair on the team of the week is Tyler Myers. This is one of these things where if you think about it, yeah, the Vancouver Canucks' best defenseman is obviously Quinn Hughes. We know that he can do things that no other Vancouver Canucks player, period, can. But when you think about the game score, I can understand why Quinn is not number one for Vancouver D-men and Tyler Myers is. Quite simply, Quinn Hughes has not necessarily had the best week, and even though he has been producing some points, he has been activating to a capacity that I think many Canucks fans are kind of surprised to see, really, he still has found himself in some pretty questionable circumstances in some parts during these games. Giveaways here and there, maybe some failed passes that lead to shorthanded goals against. It's not like Tyler Myers doesn't do the same things. I think Tyler Myers has been very, very criticized over the past few years for his turnovers and his turnstiling ability. He can look like a pylon sometimes at Tyler Myers, but case in point, this was just one of those weeks where for some reason everything worked for Tyler Myers and he looked a lot better than we may have expected out of him. And Quinn just kind of had one of those off weeks where not everything that he does goes his way 100% of the time like it usually does. So this has been a pretty interesting week for Myers and Edvinsson to see these guys get the recognition that they've been given. And for Pius Suter, also on the Vancouver side of things, being one of the best forwards. Yeah, he's the first-line center on this team now, folks. And I don't really think there's reason to doubt him at this point when you acknowledge his capabilities. No Pettersson, no Hedl, so what is essentially a third-line center in Suter, maybe even a fourth-line center if you consider Bluger as the real third-line guy, he's now being played as a first-line player, and the Canucks are starting to score goals. Bluger, Ratu, Suter, all down the middle, they're getting offense. Linus Karlsson is also scoring, and Lekaramaki too. The Vancouver Canucks are a weird team, because now with Pettersson, Höglander, and Hedl out, no more JT Miller too, this is when they start scoring a whole bunch of goals. It's almost like you could have waited until the end of the season to get that offense going, but ultimately, Pius Suter is one of the main guys that has been allowing the team to do that. Now, just for craps and giggles, let's go out there and take a look at the worst team of the week to end off this video, because there are a bunch of duos, a bunch of trios. There's a group of four here. What is a group of four? Duo, trio, quintupio, quinio, quinto? I'm not too sure. No, quince is 5. Quadio, I'm not too sure, but the Edmonton Oilers have 4 guys on the worst team of the week. Adam Henrique, Arvidsson, Corey Perry, and Vasily Podkolzin. The Penguins have 2 guys, Ashari and Connor Dewar. The Rangers have 3 guys, Obey Kubel, Parshinen, Matt Rempe. The Utah Hockey Club have 2 guys in Michael Carconi, Sean Dursey, and Karel Vejmelka. The Boston Bruins have 2 guys in Lohrei and Peak, and then the Canadiens have David Savard and Arbor Xhekaj. So it's been a pretty bad week for all of these players, considering their game scores night in and night out, and just some of the same guys on the same teams forming lines here that really paint a picture as to how bad some of these total deployments have been. Ultimately, though, this is a celebration video talking about Pius Suter, Seider, and Tyler Myers. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about these acknowledgements here given out to these players. What are your thoughts on the way Simon Edvinsson has played the past week? What are your thoughts on Myers and Pius Suter? I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.